Good luck.
Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün Kanada'nın Önde Gelen Politeknik Universitesi, Kwantlen Polytechnic University'de eğitimi Ken'den dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı Questions bölümünden sormayı unutmayın. Yes, Ken, the stage is yours now.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Zainab. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ken Abad. I am the KPU International Admission and Recruitment Coordinator for the Middle East. So thanks for joining me today. Today I'll be talking about Kwantlen, the process of coming to Canada, a little about our school, admission requirements, what's it's going to look like, what services we offer. We have a chat box and questions bar. Feel free to shoot some questions. I'll answer the questions at the end of the presentation. And I'll try my best to answer things and address things in the chat box. Okay, so I am going to share my screen here. Okay, perfect. So I hope you guys can see the PowerPoint. And okay, so welcome to my presentation. This presentation is about Kwantlen Polytechnic University, in short, KPU. Our slogan is Discover What is Possible. So KPU is a teaching-focused, hands-on university. Teaching focus means our school is designed for teaching credentials. It's not a research-based school. So there's some other schools maybe you've heard of that are research-based, like SFU and UBC here in Metro Vancouver. Research-based means the school hires professors mainly to do research. I'm not there to teach. So our professors, our instructors are here at KPU to teach, just to teach you, the students. Make sure you learn what you're here to learn and you leave satisfied, right? We have over 20,000 students enrolled annually. We offer over 140 unique programs. We're the third largest university in Metro Vancouver. We're an accredited public university, which is a very important line, meaning if you're interested in immigrating to Canada after school, or you want to get your work permit, you're eligible to get post-graduation work permits after studying with us. And we've had over 200,000 students who studied here in KPU. Sorry, I can't see the chat box, so I can't answer. Hi, hello, everyone. It is early here in Vancouver. It's 6 a.m. I believe it's 4 p.m. over there. Okay. So KPU, Kwantlen Polytechnic University. So often people outside of Canada, outside of USA, they often ask, what does Polytechnic mean? So Polytechnic, in simple terms, means like practical skills, applied learning, hands-on experiences. So our school prides itself in the methodology we use to teach our students. Okay, so you would think you just sit in a classroom and you listen to a presentation for from your teacher for 3 hours every day. In KPU, it's more, maybe you'll spend half an hour or 1 hour listening to your teacher, and you'll spend 2 hours maybe doing interviews or applying what you learn. So it's very important that when we're teaching things in KPU, that students are applying and using the theories and methodologies that they learn in class. And this really helps the student just remember what they're doing, and really like being able to apply and know what they're learning makes it easier to learn as a student. So one of the reasons people come to Kwantlen is to come to Vancouver. Okay, so Vancouver, if you don't know, we are in the far west side of Canada by the Pacific Ocean. We're just north of the USA border. So we're very close to Seattle. Seattle, Washington, and USA is about a 2-hour drive from Vancouver. We're one of the mildest climates in Canada. So here in Vancouver, it doesn't really get that cold. In the winter, you're looking at maybe 0 degrees, -5 degrees. In the summer, you're looking around 20, 25 degrees. So in winter, not super cold. In the summer, not very hot as well. Anywhere else outside of Vancouver in Canada gets very, very cold and gets very, very hot in the summer. We're a safe, multicultural, and laid-back lifestyle. So as you can see, we have the mountains right beside the city. To your left there, that's the Pacific Ocean. So if you like to be outdoors, you like to do activities, sports outside, Vancouver is the place for you. You can go snowboarding and skiing in the summer, or in the winter, sorry. And in the summer, you go golfing, you can go boating, surfing. We have one of the highest quality of life in North America, as you can imagine, especially with our weather. And as I mentioned, we have the ocean and mountains in our backyard. So this picture here is downtown Vancouver. I'll be sharing a map later, and you'll see where Kwantlen is situated related to downtown Vancouver. Okay, so KPU. So in KPU, we have 5 campuses. Our campuses are in Metro Vancouver, not necessarily in the city of Vancouver. So if you look at the map here, on the left, top left, downtown Vancouver. So that's where that picture was right there earlier, just before here. This picture, downtown Vancouver. And you can see the train lines here we have in Vancouver. So you can see one of our campuses here is in Richmond campus, just south of downtown Vancouver. So from Richmond campus to downtown Vancouver, you're looking around a 20-minute drive. On the train, 20 minutes easily. Our main campus is here in Surrey. So as you can see, it's a little far away from Vancouver. From Surrey campus to downtown Vancouver, you're looking at around 45 minutes to 50 minutes there drive. And you can see Civic Plaza is another campus we have, KPU Tech and KPU Langley. So these are our 5 campuses. If you come to study at Kwantlen, most of your classes, most general classes international students take is going to be in the Richmond campus and in the Surrey campus. So I'm just going to be sharing some images so you guys could get an idea or able to visualize what school is like in KPU, what our facilities like, what it looks like to study here in Canada. So as you can see the images here, Wilson School of Design is one of our new campuses in the Richmond campus. It's a school specifically for fashion and design. So our fashion and design department is probably one of the most famous in Northern America, if not the most famous in Canada. You can see Civic Plaza space. We have our agriculture farm for our agriculture and horticulture student. Brew Lab is becoming a popular program of ours to basically make beer. So if you like to drink beer, you can learn to make beer for 2 years and you could be making beer as a career after. Our main campus, Surrey, just outside of it. The tech campus interior, just another gathering area, and the library at the bottom right here. So here's just a bigger image, pop up with those images. Our agriculture farm. So we have our students here who are taking horticulture, and they actually grow vegetables and fruits, and they sell it back to other students. So, or if you're a student or staff, you could go buy vegetables or fruits grown by our students in the horticulture program. This is their library. You can see it's 3 floors. This is the main campus library. Every campus has a library, but this is the biggest one. This is the main campus front entrance. You can see glass exterior. And this is the Richmond School of Design. So my office is actually just beside this building here. One of our newest buildings here in Kwantlen for our design program. This is our Langley campus. This is where the brewing lab is, where you make beer. And the KP Tech, which is another campus we have. Okay, so I'll quickly talk about our different programs available for students. Things that I've noticed that are popular for international students. Things that I think will be popular from students coming from Turkey. So academic and career advancement. This is basically our faculty for people who just want to upgrading their English. unfortunately we don't have any English second language programs at Kwantlen. We do have pathway programs where if you don't meet the English requirement, you could take some English classes while you're taking undergraduate university classes. But we don't have a program for just to take English. So if your English is not up to par yet and you're thinking of coming to Kwantlen just to upgrade your English, we don't have that opportunity to do so. So arts, probably the most common program or faculty most students get into. So this has things like soft skills, right? Things like psychology, philosophy, social sciences. So we have the only 4-year journalism degree in Western Canada here in Kwantlen. So if you're interested in going to journalism, basically talking about the news, writing articles, that's an opportunity as well in the arts faculty. So I would say the most popular program in arts would be psychology. Business, I think, is our most popular faculty for all international students. So I think majority of our international students who come to Canada are looking to do something related to business. So things like accountants, financial auditors. We have the accreditation for Council of Business Schools and Programs, which is basically saying that our programs are internationally recognized. So our most popular business program, I would say, is business management. It's a 2-year diploma, and you could do up to 4 years and complete that 4 years instead of 2 years if you'd like. So one of the best key points of our business program is co-op. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but co-op is basically when you're going to school, you could take 1 semester off, so 3-4 months. And in those 3-4 months, you actually do co-op. So co-op is working at a job related to your program. So if you're in business, if you're in a marketing program for business, you would go into a company and you would work with their marketing department for 3-4 months. It's paid. It's not going to be an amazing pay, but you're going to get paid. And the point of the co-op is for you to get work experience, for you to understand the industry and your future job, right? So it's to make sure that the student is going into what they want to do, right? And it's an opportunity to get work experience, to network and meet future employers. A lot of students who go into co-op, they're offered a job before they even graduate. So you have a job and you haven't even finished school yet. That's the best situation. So design, as I mentioned, we are the best. We won the best overall the fashion school in Canada in 2019. We've been awarded many accolades in North America, within USA and Canada, in terms of fashion for our fashion programs. So the design programs, if you are interested in going into fashion and you're thinking of doing design in Kwantlen, think hard. It's very difficult to get in, first of all. Of course, we have many international students who apply and do get in, but the process is very different from other programs. So I'm not going to go into too much detail of how the admission process is different for design programs, but it is different, and do reach out to me if you are interested. Health programs. So you're thinking of this is things like acupuncture, and we have a new acupuncture here in Kwantlen, and believe it or not, the acupuncture industry is growing here in North America. I'm not sure how it is in Turkey and Middle East, or even in Europe, but here in North America, acupuncture and that Chinese holistic style of healing has become very popular, and many clinics are coming up. So if that's something you're interested in, we have that program. It's a 2-year program, originally a 3. So it's a lot of work, but it's a great program if you are interested in becoming a licensed acupuncturist. Science and horticulture. So we offer very basic science programs, things like Bachelor of Science in Biology, Health Science, Environmental Clean Technology programs. I would say our most popular program here would be Health Science. So a lot of students, they come here, they do Health Science. And Health Science is a great starting point if you want to go into medical school or you want to go further to do your master's in sciences. Trades and technology, unfortunately, this is pretty difficult path to pursue for international students. I say difficult because if you come to Canada and you want to do a trades program, you want to be a carpenter, you want to be an electrician, basically you can't do it with a study permit. So you need to have a work permit. So it's something we don't really recommend trades programs to international students unless the international student is going to be getting their permanent residency soon. So I'm going to skip this. So as I mentioned earlier, Polytechnic in our name is part of the hands-on learning approach, right? So a lot of our programs, they have practicum opportunities, applied research, field schools, co-ops, and labs, right? So basically, as I mentioned earlier, what that just means is it's just taking what you learn in class and it's just having you use it, right? So an example is when I did my 4-year degree here at Kwantlen, actually, when I was a student, I took a research class. We spent maybe 2 weeks learning about the different research styles. After that, the teacher said, don't come to class and use the research. So each student had to apply a type of research, whether it's like observational research or like surveys, use it and then present about how they use your research, what they found and stuff, right? So it's really, you take what you learn and then you apply it and use it, right? And we have different opportunities that for our students like that. Field schools, right? So if you're taking an anthropology class, basically the study of culture, field schools, you could go to the Amazon and then travel there for a few weeks with your classmates and actually see and learn what you were reading about in books, right? And that's very important for students to remember and to really understand the why of why you're learning something. So our instructors, they have industry experience, professional networks, and accessibility. So basically, a lot of our instructors, they come from the industry, right? So when you go into business class, your business classes, you're going to notice a lot of your business instructors either are still working in the business industry, maybe they're still like your accounting instructor is still an accountant, right? But they teach part-time kind of thing, right? So the point is that a lot of your instructors, they have the knowledge, they have the experience, and you have the opportunity to learn from them. Teaching and learning approach. So we have max 35 students. Basically, as I mentioned earlier, the research universities, they tend to have bigger classes, maybe 100 students in one class. For our school, we only have 35 max. So the point of this is that you're in a first name basis, right? You're able to interact with your teacher. In a small class of 35 students, you can interact with your teacher. Your teacher can interact with you. In a class of 100 students, you cannot interact with your teacher, right? You just sit there, you listen to what your teacher says, and then you go home. And this is where it's different in Kwantlen, right? So we want you to be able to ask your teacher if you have questions. Raise your hand and ask your teacher, Megan or whatever, like ask them through their first name, right? So that's why we say first name basis, is that you're actually able to interact with your teacher and your teacher interacts with you. And that's very important in the learning environment. So co-op, as I mentioned earlier, earn while you learn. Very important. On the left here, you can see a list. These are the programs that have co-op available to them. I'm not going to go through every program, but basically almost 90% of these programs are business programs. Okay, everything except criminology, which is arts, and public relations, which is also arts. Everything else is business. So this is also why business is very popular, because a lot of times people, when they finish school, they're like, oh, I don't have job experience. I don't know what job to get. But if you have in one of these business programs, you'll finish school and you have job experience. You already have an idea of what kind of job or position you'd like, because you worked it, right, for those 3-4 months. Okay, so this is very important. I'm just going to look at the chat box here. Any questions? Okay, so I don't see anything in the chat box, but I'll answer the questions box at the end of the presentation. So what can I graduate with? So this is very important for international students. Most international students, they go for a diploma from the top right here, diploma or associate's degree. And this is a 2-year program. The reason why most students go for a 2-year program is that if you take a 2-year program or more in Canada, once you graduate with this, you're eligible for a 3-year work permit. So that means once you finish graduation, you could apply at the government of Canada, and they might give you a 3-year work permit, and you could stay in Canada for 3 years after and work at a job here full time, or travel around Canada, whatever you want to do, right? Personally, for me, I think a bachelor's degree, 4 years or more, is it's a stronger credential, right? So you could generally specialize more in whatever job you want to do or career if you do a 4-year degree as opposed to 2. And we also have post-baccalaureate and graduate level diplomas. So if you're in Turkey, you already have a bachelor's degree back home. You generally don't want to come here and do another bachelor's degree, okay? You want to go for a level above that, right? So you either post-baccalaureate diploma or graduate diplomas. So unfortunately, we only offer graduate level programs right now for business and 1 design program. So you can see our graduate level program. So if you have a bachelor's degree already, you still want to come to Canada, but maybe you're thinking of staying in the same industry, or maybe you're thinking of changing. We have some availability. We have some programs for you. So in our business, we have accounting, operations, supply chain management, technical management services, and human resources management. I'll tell you right now, all 4 of these programs, they are the most on demand. They are the most popular, one of the most 4 popular programs we have in Kwantlen, especially for international students. These 4 programs, they tend to fill up sometimes half a year before the start of the program. So if you're interested, you are interested in coming to Canada or trying one of these programs, just remember, I would suggest you apply as soon as you can, as early as possible. Our graduate diplomas are as well, Global Business Management and Green Business Management Sustainability. These are graduate level diplomas, 2 years, generally pretty competitive as well. They have a GPA requirement and stuff. So apply early. I'm saying it for this now, but in general, you should be applying early for everything, because the whole process to get to come to Canada is a long process. So we have 2 types of programs here in Kwantlen. We have open intake, limited intake. Basically, open intake, no seat limit. We could have as many students to apply. We don't have a capacity number, okay? General admission requirements, you could choose your schedule and courses, right? So if you don't want to study, maybe you work a job on Friday, you could make your schedule so you don't go to school on Friday, right? So here in KPU, not just KPU, but every post-secondary in Canada goes the same way. Students generally can make their own schedule. For limited intake, these are for specialized programs. Okay, so these are programs that maybe only take 50 students a year. Some programs only 20 students a year, right? So some programs could take up to 100 students a year, right? These are generally things like our design programs are all limited intake. Some of our business programs are limited intake as well. Sometimes there's additional admission requirements. So instead of just meeting English and proof of graduation, maybe you need to have a certain GPA level. Maybe you have to submit portfolios or some other requirements. And generally for limited intake, the schedule is set. So the days you have to go to school, the hours, it's going to be the same for every student. Okay, so now you're thinking, what is probably the general admission requirement? So the general admission requirement for us, very simple. There's only 2 requirements, okay? So English proficiency. If you're an international student, you have to show that you could study at our school. So that by showing that, you have to show that you have the English to study at our school. The second requirement is proof of graduation. So show us that you finish high school, or maybe you have a bachelor's degree already, or maybe you have a diploma at your old school already. That works as well. And as I mentioned, if you're applying at the post-baccalaureate or graduate level programs, there might be additional requirements, right? Things like GPA, maybe you might need math, right? Or maybe you might need other high school grades. You need certain grades in high school. So this is our English requirement. So for you guys, you're gonna wanna look to the right side here in the testing options right here. So our most common test we receive is IELTS, IELTS. So we accept an overall band of 6.5 with a minimum 6.0 in each band. Okay, so this is usually the average, the general English requirement you'll see in universities here in Canada. We are accepting Duolingo right now as well. And we are going to be accepting it for fall 2022 and summer 2022. So if you're struggling meeting English, we have what we call the pathway program. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this, but basically how it works is if you do not meet that level of English we have, and you're like just a little below, you could do the pathway program. What it means is that you just take English classes to level up and take your university classes. For example, if you're in marketing for business, you would take 2 English classes to level your English and 1 marketing class. So the point of pathway is that if you don't meet English, you don't have to wait next year to apply again at Kwantlen, or you don't have to wait for the next semester so you could make your English better. You could start right away. If you want to start in fall 2022, you can start fall 2022 and upgrade your English while doing your classes. So obviously it's a little more expensive, but it's good to save students time. So these are our different limited intake programs that I mentioned that have limited seats. So only take a certain amount of students per year. So you can see all design programs. We have the brewery and brewing, the program to make beer. And then all graduate and postgraduate programs. Cost. Okay, so this is all going to be in Canadian dollars. The sample first year cost, 13,000 to 21,000. It's a big range, almost double, right? But it depends on how many courses you take, right? So if you take open intake, as I mentioned, you could make your own schedule, register for courses you want or don't want. So if you're going for the minimum, you could be paying very little, right? But if you think you could study a lot, you have a lot of time, you could take more courses and you pay more. We have a better breakdown of this on our website if you want to see it. ZTC, Z credits, Basically, it's a program. Some programs we have in our school, you don't have to pay for textbooks. So textbooks is a very expensive, adds a lot of cost into studying. I remember having one textbook for one class. One textbook was like $300. So almost as expensive as a class, right? So with free textbooks, students save a lot of money, but not every program yet, right? Just these 7 programs under at the bottom left, but we're adding more programs every year. Scholarships. So the dates are old here. Don't worry about the dates. You can change it to 2022. It should be about the same. If you're an international student or a Canadian student, everyone can apply for the same scholarships. Okay, scholarships. You have to apply for it. Once you apply, and they look at your application, you win. It's free money, right? So you can see in the bottom left, President Entrance Scholarship, $20,000 Canadian. So if you win one of that pays for a lot of your classes already, right? So I always say, always apply for a scholarship. It's free to apply. If you get the money, you get the money. If you don't, then you tried, right? So it's an opportunity for every student. So if you're interested in applying, I suggest you apply for a scholarship as well. So student life changed a lot since COVID. As you can see, no one's wearing masks. So this is all before COVID. Now we're starting events up again in school. Starting January next year, 2022, we're going to be having more in-person events. We're going to have more events like this you're seeing in the pictures. But for the past 2 years, we haven't had any in-person events. It's all been virtual. So the student life team would be having like virtual meetings online, things like that to engage students. These are the services we have available. Almost the same service you'll have anywhere you go, if you go to any university in Canada. Counseling services, services to help you get a job, for co-op, right? If you have religion beliefs, scholarships, everything, sports. We have a study abroad program. If you want to travel to another country to learn, to do field schools as part of your program, that's also available. That's also available for you. And these are just the important dates. Okay, so if you're thinking of starting classes in September, applications just opened 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. If you're thinking of starting classes in January, it opened February the year before, right? So this coming February will be for January 2023. And for May opens in June. So right now we are accepting applications for summer 2022, which is May, and fall 2022, which is September next year. Spring 2022, which is January in 2-3 months, is already full. Okay, so just for you guys, 3 months already before the start of the semester, it's already full, right? So that means you have to be applying well before that. So you should be applying at least 6 months before the start. And that's to make sure you have enough time to do the process to get your study permit. This is what the steps look like. You apply online. You get access to your online account. You submit your documents like your transcript, your English, anything else you need to submit. You accept your offer. And you register for courses and you get ready to come to Canada. All right, so that was a lot of information, guys. I hope you learned something from that, and I was able to answer most of your questions. This is the last slide here. So this is just my contact information on the bottom right. So as I mentioned, my name is Kenneth Abad. My colleagues call me Ken. Feel free to call me Ken as well. That's my personal email address and my phone number. So my phone number goes straight to my my office phone or my computer. So write that down. If you have any questions, reach out to me anytime. If you are an attendee of this webinar, mention it in the email, and I could give you a free application to KPU. So that's the end of my presentation, but I will answer some questions here in the question area. Okay, so Aaron, I'm going to start from the top. Seda Semis, is the campus located city center in Vancouver? So as I mentioned, it is not in the city center of Vancouver. It is in the Metro Vancouver area, so it's around Vancouver City. As I'm sure you remember the map I showed you earlier. Oh, okay, done answering. Okay, next. How is accommodation options around the campus? Is apartments affordable? So that's an interesting question to answer. So we do not have on-campus housing. So that means we don't have dormitories in our school. We do have partnerships with dormitories and student residences around near our campuses. But most of our students, they just rent an apartment nearby. Is it affordable? I wouldn't say so. I think Vancouver was rated as one of the most expensive cities to live at in the world. Maybe top 5, top 10. So renting here is not cheap. And I'll be honest there, right? As with any big city, renting is not cheap. But since our schools are not in central Vancouver, it's definitely a lot more affordable than what the numbers show you. So you're looking at around, for one bedroom for one student, you're looking at around $1,300 Canadian a month, I would say, up or down. Excuse me, guys. Okay. I'm in Syria. I'm from Syria. I live in Turkey. What about studying in Canada? So yeah, wherever you are, you could study in Canada. So you could apply to Kwantlen. So you could apply to Kwantlen. You could get accepted in Kwantlen, but you still have to apply for a study permit through the government of Canada, right? So at the end of the day, the government of Canada is going to say if you can or cannot come to Canada. Can an international student get part-time work permit while studying? Yes. So if you have a study permit in Canada, so a study permit is the visa that says you can study, you can be a student here in Canada. With that permit, you're allowed to work up to 20 hours part-time. So many of our students, they work part-time. Maybe they work at Starbucks or something, or coffee shop, less than 20 hours a week, okay? That's what it is now. It might change next year, right? Or in 2 years, I'm not sure, but that is the current policy right now. This is a good question. Is GPA very important for bachelor's degree programs application? Yes and no. So as I mentioned, if it's an open intake program, you just have to meet 2 requirements: meet English and proof of graduation. So we're not actually going to look at your GPA. Is having a good GPA important? Very important, right? In Canada and USA as well, our university system is a bit different. I'm not sure how it is in Turkey or in Europe, but for example, in Asia, it's very different, right? So in Asia, when you're applying to university, they check your GPA, they check your grades, right? It's more difficult to get in. You have to do tests to get in. In Canada, I would say it's the opposite. It's not difficult to get into a school here. It's difficult to finish the school, right? So we don't have GPA requirements to get into a bachelor's degree, which you might think, oh, I can just apply and get it start a bachelor's degree in Kwantlen, but it might be harder to complete it than you think. Just because it's easy to get in, it's difficult to complete it. So do keep that in mind, guys, even though there's no GPA requirement. This is a good question. So I kind of answered it as earlier as well. So I'm not sure if you caught that. We do not have English prep year in Kwantlen. So if you're looking to you're thinking, I need another year. My English is not there yet. I need 1 year to just take English classes. Unfortunately, we don't offer that in Kwantlen. So if you're going to be applying straight to any of our programs, you should have a TOEFL score or an IELTS score already. As I mentioned, we have the pathway program. So if you're maybe just a little below, you might be able to do the pathway program. But if you're not, I would suggest that maybe you could come here and try language school in the Vancouver area and then come apply to Kwantlen after. Great question, though. We get asked that very often. And unfortunately, all the English language classes in Kwantlen is just for Canadian new residents. That's another good question. How many times students can attend co-op? So you can only attend co-op once, and you have to apply for it, right? So if you recall the list of programs that have co-op, just because a program has co-op, it doesn't mean 100% you can do co-op. You have to apply for co-op. Okay, so not every student does co-op. Not every student can do co-op. But yes, you can only do it once as well. So once you get in, you do it for 3 semesters and you're done. Obviously, you don't want to be doing co-op for like a few years while you're doing your program, because the point of co-op is just to get a little bit of job experience before finishing your studies. Great question, though. Is co-op duration flexible? Yes and no. You're looking at around 3-4 months. So you're going to be doing co-op for 1 semester generally, based on jobs available. But generally, the hours are also pretty flexible. So once you get into co-op, you could talk to your employer and say, maybe you don't go to school Mondays and you cannot work Mondays, right? So you just let them know you can't go Mondays, kind of thing. So very flexible. If you ever have a chance to do co-op, always say yes. You can't go wrong with doing co-op. After I graduate from Turkish University, can I do my master's there? If I can, how does it work? So unfortunately, if you didn't notice, we do not have any master's program. So our highest level of highest credential would be a graduate diploma. So basically how it works is you have a 2-year diploma, bachelor's degree, post-baccalaureate, graduate diploma, master's degree, and then PhD, right? So unfortunately, we're still just a little below masters. We are looking to have master programs hopefully in the next few years. We're working on it, but unfortunately, at this time, we do not have any master's programs. Okay, so I think that's all the questions. Okay, so I think I got all your question, guys. Once again, I'm gonna share. I'll have this image here just for you guys. If you want to take a screenshot, take a picture of it for your friends. Once again, shoot me an email if you're interested. Hopefully I get the emails of all the attendees at the end of today. And I'll send a follow-up email to everyone who had the chance to join me today. But you can also jot down my personal email as well. So once again, I just want to thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you learned something. I hope I didn't bore you too much. But yeah, I hope you learned something. And I also want to extend my my thanks to the IEFT team for having me host this webinar, for inviting me and my institution to join here today and to share with you guys about Kwantlen, right? So thanks again. Keep in touch, and I hope to hear from you guys.
Yes, thank you very much for the great presentation, Ken. We believe it was a really informative webinar for the attendees. And you covered all of the questions. Thank you for your answers too. Also, I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Umarım sizin için de faydalı bir webinar olmuştur. Ken'e sunumdaki mail adresinden ulaşabilirsiniz. Aynı zamanda alttaki webinarımıza da davet etmek isteriz sizi. Görüşmek üzere. Kendinize iyi bakın.
Thanks again, everyone.